This is chapter 9, question 120. Okay, talking about how to investigate the rate of a reaction between sodium thiosulfate and hydrochloric acid. Now, we have done this before in the lab for paper 3. Okay, we put sodium thiosulfate, okay, and also acid in a conical flask. Okay, let's say first we put sodium thiosulfate. Okay, sodium thiosulfate solution. Before we add acid, okay, we put a piece of paper with writing below the conical flask. Okay, with writing. Okay, then add hydrochloric acid. Start the timing immediately. Swirl a little bit and then we wait. Okay, sulfur will form in this reaction. Okay, sulfur is a salt, slightly yellowish, solid. Okay, yellow solid. So the solution becomes cloudy. Okay, more cloudy. Okay, very cloudy until cannot see the writing anymore. Then we stop the timing. Okay, we record that as reaction time. Okay, in second. Okay, let's say 50 seconds, depending on the concentration. Right? So, we use the reaction time later to calculate the rate of reaction. Okay? Now, so what we did here is we are using the change of appearance caused by formation of a precipitate to help us to investigate the rate of this reaction in the lab. Okay. So the question asks which of the following can be used to investigate the rate of this reaction. So we use this in the lab. So number 2 can be used to investigate the rate of this reaction. Now the general expression or the definition of rate of reaction is always, okay, let me type it out. Right, okay, I'll put it here. Okay, rate is always, what we did was we always measure the amount of concentration, or concentration, okay, sorry, the change in the amount or change in the concentration of reactant, okay, or we can also use products, okay, over a period of time. Okay, this is how we calculate rate of reaction. So, but when we do an experiment in the lab, how do we measure the change in amount or concentration of reactant or product is by observation or measurement. Like this one, we observe. Okay, we observe the appearance because precipitate is formed. So when the solution becomes very cloudy, okay, so we stop, we measure the time, we also look at the change in the amount, right? Okay, so this is how we investigate rate of reaction in experiment. If, okay, I have two different conical flasks. Okay, two different conical flasks. One become cloudy very fast, the other one become cloudy slower. So I know the one become very fast one has higher rate of reaction. The one become cloudy slower one has lower rate of reaction. Okay, but to measure the rate of reaction, we must always have something that we can observe or we can measure over time. All right. Okay, now this reaction, same reaction. Can we measure the change of mass? Okay, to help us to investigate the rate of reaction. Now we normally measure change of mass when we have a reaction that is involving, okay, formation of gas. For example, I have carbonate. Okay, I give you example. For example, I have calcium carbonate. Okay, I heat, I get calcium oxide. Okay, I get CO2. So this is a gas, right? This is a solid. Carbonate is also a solid. So, okay, I can measure the change in mass because at the end this one escape, right, from my system, from my flask or my crucible. Okay, I only get CaO at the end. So because this one has escaped, I'll get decrease in mass for the whole thing. So I can measure the change of mass to investigate the rate of this reaction. Okay, but here, thiosulfate and acid, okay, I get water, I get solid sulfur, I get SO2 in aqueous form. There's no gas, nothing has escaped from this reaction. They all still stay in the same flask, right? So no change in mass. I cannot use change of mass, okay, to measure the rate of this reaction. So number one is not correct. Now let's look at number three. Number three is actually a bit new to you. Okay, you have to think a little bit outside of the box. Change of electrical conductivity. Most of you probably have not thought of this. Now you can learn more about this one in A2 also. Okay, we have a chapter called reaction kinetics. Now, left hand side, I have thiosulfate ion, I have acid. These two ions, they carry charges. Now, you know aqueous solutions can conduct electricity because they contain species that can, okay, they can conduct electricity because they carry charges. But let's look at the products. I have H2O, I have sulfur, I have sulfur dioxide. All these, they are neutral species, neutral molecules, no charge, cannot conduct electricity. So can you imagine at the very beginning, sorry about that, at the very beginning, before I have my products, okay, electrical conductivity of the solution is high because I have a lot of ions. Over time, these two react with each other to give products. So the concentration of reactants will decrease. Okay? Concentration of product, or amount of product will increase. This one decrease, electrical conductivity also decrease. Okay? Also decrease. Here, okay, amount of products will increase. But does it increase the electrical conductivity? No, because none of them is carrying a charge. So overall, okay, electrical conductivity will only decrease. There's a change in electrical conductivity. And the change in electrical conductivity, what is it telling? It's telling us the change in the amount of reactant. Decrease, right? Tell us, okay, the amount of reactants has also decreased. So it's something that we can measure over time in an experiment to tell us what's the change in the amount of reactant, and we can measure time. So from there we can measure the rate of reaction. So number 3 is also correct. Therefore, the answer is C.